Okay, so now let's do the pound yen. Now we've seen that the pound was very strong versus the dollar, and it is also quite, but it's fairly weak against the euro. So looking at the weekly chart for the euro yen, for the pound yen, this is actually a sure. This is actually kind of a sell signal in the euro yen, in the pound yen, I mean. This is pretty much, again, we don't really have a decisive directional trade in the pound yen. This is in a tight range. This is a sell signal, if you will. So if nothing else, I would be selling the pound yen in this case. But I would be much more safer if I go short below the structure point of 131.99. It has closed the week at 132.43, so I'm about 40 pips away from my actual sell signal, and that should give me a stronger entry. And of course here now, when I go down to a daily chart, you could see clearly that it is in this very narrow range since the middle of May, and we don't have a clear breakout in either direction. So assuming that we have a very close sell signal in the yen index, then we're going to try to identify nearby buy signals in the pound yen, just in case it will be a trade based on the weakness of the yen rather than the strength of the pound. So in this case, I have to go to pretty much the intraday charts to identify a possible entry point. Okay, I'm looking back historically now. I'm going back to July 7th, and I'm trying to identify a structural point on a smaller time frame, so that can be my buy signal. This seems to be I'm just gonna make it unique so I can see, so So this is basically a structure point, so if it gets above it here, this would be a, I want to see how it, see now this is a structure point prior, and now once I had a break, look at this move that followed. So this now is a pretty good candidate for me. The 133.20 would be a strong buying point for me. And also when it broke below it, I had this sell-off, so that makes it a pretty good candidate to be my long point. And so this will be my long point, the 132, the 133.40, I'm guessing, I'm sorry, the 133. So the 133.20 would be my buying point. My structural points are pretty far away. It's still the 139, and my structural short is the 131.99. So these remain intact. So my structure short in this case is the 131.99, and my structure long is the 139.60. My short point is going to be the 131.99, and if I do go short below the 131.99, my stop is going to be right here above the 132.54, and if I go long above the 133.20, my stop again is going to be the same. I don't want to conflict, so 132.54 is going to be my stop point. Okay, so looking at this, my bias now would be actually slightly to be buying the pound yen. I would be looking to be a buyer of the pound yen, and as long as it holds above the 132.54, but I will actually trigger the buy above the 133.20 because that will be a structure point to the upside. So this is the pound yen, the numbers. I'm going to go long the pound yen above 133.20. That is my buying point, and it is also my structure point. And if I buy it above the 133.20, my stop so if I buy it above 133.20, my stop is going to be 132.54. If I go short, I'm going to go short below 131.99, and I'm still going to use the 132.54 as my stop. My structure long is the 139.60, which is far away, and my structure short is the 131.99. Okay, that is the pound yen.